Hello everyone. So in this lecture we will see beam strength of a spur gear. Okay. So now we'll take a single tooth of a spur gear. So here it is a single tooth of a spur gear, and different forces acting on the spur gear are nothing but a tangential force and a radial force, and this is the resultant force. Okay. So resultant force will act like this. And this will the radial component, and this will be the tangential component. Now we are taking this length as a small l. Okay, from support to the tangential force. Now in this case, when the tangential force is acting like this gear tooth will act as a cantilever beam. Okay? And it will try to bend like this. Okay, so here because of this tangential force, the gear tooth will try to bend like this. So in this case, here at this uppermost fibers, here tensile stresses will be developed. At the lowermost fibers, the compressive stresses will be developed. So the stresses develop in the uppermost part will be tensile, and the maximum stress will be here, and the maximum compressive stress will be here. Okay, so this bending stress will have tensile nature as upper part and compressive nature in lower part of the gear. Okay, now if we see here in 3D, your gear tooth will be like this. Here on this complete face width, your tangential force will act like this. Okay, and the remaining term will be as it is. Now here this is your neutral axis of the gear. This is the thickness of the gear pair, and this B is the face width of the gear pair. Now we have some assumptions here. The first assumption, we are assuming that the full load is acting at the tip of the gear tooth. Okay, so at the tip of the gear tooth we are assuming the full load is acting here only. Okay, there is no load on any other surface of the gear tooth. Second assumption, we are assuming that the effect of radial force is neglected. Now in this case we have seen here the radial component is there, here tangential component is there. So we are assuming that this radial effect of radial force is neglected, is 0. The load is uniformly distributed. Now you can see along the face width we are assuming that the load is uniformly distributed. Okay, but in actual practice load may not be uniformly distributed. Maybe somewhere here the load will be maximum, here the load will be minimum, or anything may happen. So to take in consideration with that the load distribution factor, we will assume in the numerical. Okay, so this is load is uniformly distributed. Now next assumption is effect of stress concentration is neglected. Now we are neglecting the stress concentration, effect of stress concentration. Then the fifth assumption will be frictional forces due to teeth sliding is neglected. Okay, so when the teeth are sliding, when teeth will come in mesh, and teeth will have a small amount of sliding motion, so that we are neglecting. Okay, so these 5 assumptions will take will consider here. Now after this we'll go in detail derivation of this. So according to our first assumption, we have assumed that the radial force is 0, and now we'll go for the tangential force. Okay, now tangential force, we are denoting tangential force by PT. So for PT will now see let we are assuming that here M, capital M is, or you can call it MB. MB is the maximum bending moment at section BC. Okay, so in the figure, in this figure, these two section BC is here, section BC. So here maximum bending moment we are assuming that MB. So maximum bending moment at section is MB, and MB you can calculate with force multiplied by perpendicular distance. Now here force is PT and perpendicular distance is small l. So MB is equal to PT into L. The next is let PT is a tangential force. Yeah. Then L is the length of the tooth. Okay, so we have assumed here L is the length of the tooth. Then small b is the face width. Then T is the thickness. Okay, so L length, then B is face width, T is the thickness of the tooth at section BC. Then after that, moment of inertia. Okay, so these are the assumptions. Then after that, the moment of inertia we can calculate at section at this neutral axis. Now see here neutral axis is here. Okay, so at this neutral axis moment of inertia will be B into T cube divided by 12. Okay, so we'll write moment of inertia BT cube by 12 mm raised to 4. So this will be the moment of inertia. Then we can see here the bending stress is maximum. So the maximum bending stress we can write here sigma b. Now sigma b is maximum here at section B, and here the nature of the sigma b bending stress is tensile. So we'll write here sigma b is equal to sigma t is equal to now mb into y divided by I. Now our mb is just, we have calculated mb is pt into L into now y is nothing but, now see your vertical distance total is t, so your y vertical distance from neutral axis will be t by 2. Okay, so y will be t by 2 divided by now I moment of inertia bt cube by 12. Okay, now if you simplify this, your equation of sigma t will become sigma t is equal to pt into 6 times L divided by bt square. Now if you write this sigma t, if you write this equation in terms of pt, so we can write here pt is equal to sigma t into b into t square divided by 6L. Okay, so this is the equation for tangential force acting on the gear tooth. Okay, then here we have seen here T and L are nothing but the dimensions, length and thickness of the gear tooth, and this then dimensions is depend on the size of the gear. Okay, so we'll let T is equal to K1 into PC and L is equal to K2 into PC. Okay, where K1 and K2 are nothing but the constant and PC is nothing but your circular pitch. Okay, circular pitch of the gear tooth in mm. Okay, so if we write the values of T and L as K1 PC and K2 PC in this equation of PT tangential force, so your tangential force will become sigma T into B into K1 square PC square divided by 6 K2 PC. Now one PC will get cancelled, and you can write this equation as sigma T into B into PC in bracket K1 square divided by 6 K2. Now module, we have module is equal to d by z, pitch circle diameter divided by number of teeth, and PC circular pitch we have circumference divided by number of teeth. Okay, so here d by z is nothing but module, so your PC will become pi into m. So instead of PC we'll write here pi into m. So our equation will become PT is equal to sigma T B m in bracket pi K1 square divided by 6 K2. Okay, now here this complete constant term we have written in this bracket. Okay, and this complete constant term we will write here sigma T B m into capital Y, where this capital Y is nothing but Lewis form factor, and it is nothing but pi K1 square divided by 6 K2, and it is called as Lewis form factor. But here K1 and K2 are unknown, that you cannot find easily. So Lewis have suggested some values of Y, okay, some formulas of Y which depend on the number of teeth. Okay, so that I will share you later. So this is Y. Okay, now now in this equation of PT, you can see here PT is equal to sigma T B m and Y. Now see here, when PT will get increased, sigma T will get increased, because PT is directly proportional to sigma T. Now when PT will get increased, sigma T will get increased. Okay, so when PT will become your strength, beam strength, sigma T will become sigma B. Okay, so we'll write here PT as beam strength SB and sigma T as sigma B, and remaining term as it is. Okay, so your SB will become sigma B B m Y. Okay, so this is your equation of beam strength of a gear tooth. Okay, now here Sigma b is permissible bending stress or bending endurance strength. Okay, and here SB is nothing but beam strength. Okay, so beam strength is nothing but a maximum tangential load the gear tooth can take without bending failure. Okay. Now Lewis have suggested some values of Lewis form factor Y. So here three different formulas of Lewis form factor is there. So first formula is 0.484 minus 2.87 divided by Z for 20 degree full depth involute system. Okay, so gear tooth, there are three gear tooth systems: 20 degree full depth involute system, 14.5 degree full depth involute system, and 20 degree stub involute system. So here for 20 degree full depth involute system, this will be the formula of Y, and Y is equal to 0.39 minus 2.15 divided by Z for 14.5 degree full depth involute system. Okay, and third formula of Y Lewis form factor is 0.55 minus 2.64 divided by Z for 20 degree stub involute system. Okay, so these are three different formulas of Y. Here nothing is there. Okay, so 0.55 minus 2.64 divided by Z. Now if suppose you are finding Y for pinion, so you have to put here YP and here ZP. If suppose you are calculating Y for gear, so here YG and here ZG. Okay, so you will get Y. Now second term is bending endurance strength sigma B. So sigma B you can calculate by your ultimate tensile strength divided by 3. Okay, so sigma B will be SUT by 3. So from this formula you can calculate sigma B.